What up, Isaac?
What's
Thank
up?
you so
What's up?
much
Thanks for having me.
for thank you so much for joining us this evening for the Rebuild Honestly forum. We're so excited you're with us. We know there's a ton of stuff that is happening in Kansas City when it relates to small business, and so we wanted to get the owner's perspective of just kind of where things are at, what your thoughts are, what your perception is, and just all things. But before we dive into that, for people who will go back and watch this later or that will tune in with us, wanted them to hear from you, kind of like how did you get into Yogurtini? What is the flow for it here in Kansas City? I didn't know you had another location besides the Plaza, so
Yeah,
people want to hear from that as well. And yeah,
yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to hop on with you guys, dive deeper with you, tell my story a little bit as well. But yeah, I'm Isaac Collins. I own two Yogurtini frozen yogurt locations in Kansas City. Can you guys still see me?
Actually, the camera went out.
oh,
Hmm.
okay, guys. For those of you who are tuning in, don't go away.
Technical difficulties.
Hold on. Yeah, it's still going out.
That's weird. You can still hear me though, right?
We
Yep.
can. Oh,
Oh,
there
there
you
you
go.
go. For those of
Yeah.
you
Sorry
that are
about
tuning in, sorry about that. We just had a
that.
little technical difficulties. All right.
Sorry, we
Hey,
call
we're
it the
just trying to
Teddy
figure this
Riley
out.
effect.
So yeah, it's kind of cool that you say that because it really depends on where people are at. So I'm from here, and I have friends up north, and I have friends around Midtown, downtown area. So if they know me from Midtown, downtown, they don't know that we have a north location, and if they know me from up there, then they don't know that we have a plaza location. But our plaza location is located on the South Plaza, in between Chipotle and the Mix and the public library. We also have one that's in the Shoal Creek area, which is the west side of Liberty on Highway 152. So, been doing that. Been a franchisee for this franchise for 8 years. In 2020, I bought into a Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Iowa. Did that for 4 years until 2016. But in 2015, I used some of my profits from Rocky Mountain and came back home to Kansas City and bought Yogurtini Plaza. So, been doing Yogurtini Plaza since about 2015. So, about 5 years now. 2016, sold the Rocky Mountain. And then my wife and I bought a second location in 2018. So, we've been doing that for about a year and a half now. So been rocking it. It's fun. Yeah, it's been good.
That's awesome, man. And that was specifically why I wanted to bring you on because I think that nobody really hears from like the franchisee type owners or the
Yeah.
there's a lot of different perspectives. So it's really good to get your perspective from it. What is it that made you get into franchise? I didn't know you had such a history in it. Like, what is it that made you get in, and what are some of the benefits of doing so?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say I got into it because it was the option that was at the time. Like I just wanted to be a business owner. And I purchased my first franchise by the grace of God right out of college. I fell into a good situation. So I went to Missouri Western in St. Joe, majored in business, and they had this program called the Applied Learning Entrepreneurship Program, where as a senior or alumni, you could take that class and you would essentially compete to win your own business. And I had to write a business plan like I was going to own and operate a Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory franchise. And so at the end of the semester, I would present my business plan to this like board of directors, if you will. And then they chose who won. So my year, 2012, summer 2012, I won. I had the choice of three stores, and I chose the one in Iowa. So,
Awesome.
if I wouldn't have had that opportunity, I hope I would still be a business owner. But my plan at that point was just to do corporate America for a while until I built up enough money to dive into it, to being a business owner. So I got into franchise just because it was the opportunity. Now I will say I love it. I've gotten to some other things outside of franchise, and it allows me to focus on the things that I'm good at, which is marketing and the people aspect and customer service and that kind of stuff. So I love it. People think that you can just start a franchise and you'll be successful, but there's a lot of work. It's still your own business, so
Hmm.
you still got to
Mm,
build it. You still have to have a good product. You still have to have good customer service. and whatnot. So it's been an interesting ride.
Awesome, man. So, taking that perspective with how COVID-19 kind of hit everybody unexpectedly, what was your reaction, or how do you feel like you were able to uh, pivot? I'm trying not to say that word so much because it's like the buzzword for everybody. But how were you able to adjust to how COVID-19 was able to affect your business?
Yeah, that's a good question. It kind of is a pivot, I guess. But obviously, same as everyone else, completely unexpected. Us entrepreneurs and us go-getters, we always have plans. We have plans and we have goals of things that we want to reach. This wasn't the 2020 plan.
Okay.
So like trying to look at where we wanted to take the business this year and how we wanted to affect the community and whatnot. We're really still trying to figure out how that's going to look. But for us, we're self-serve frozen yogurt. So you come in, and as a customer, the whole process is yours. You grab a cup, you put the yogurt in there, you put the toppings in there, and then you weigh it. And there's really not much that we do along that process. So for us to not have customers inside our building, that really threw us for a loop. So we've had to figure out other ways to do it. So we actually dove into pickup and order at the door and delivery, which has taken us a while to kind of figure out.
I know that well.
But we've had to do it. Yeah, you do. You become my number one customer in the last couple of weeks.
That's bad. That's bad, but it's good.
Hey, it's support though. You're supporting local.
Yeah, I'm doing my part. See, I'm doing my part. For people that don't know, I'm getting out. I was out today, and I'm going on a tangent, but I went to go get a daiquiri at Velvet Freeze and 18th and Vine. So I'm trying.
Yeah, you're trying. You're doing a good job. She's been in there about 3 or 4 times in the last week or two. So
I've been seeing Instagram pictures.
Yeah, it's been cool though, just because the community is so tight knit that people have really come around us and they're like, okay, this isn't your normal business model, and this is kind of weird to get a frozen treat delivered to my house when I'm 5 miles away, but people are taking a shot on it, and they're helping us prove the concept. As every single week goes by, we're getting better at it. So I would say it's been a pivot that was a necessity for us. And I think also what it's allowing us to do is whenever we do open back up full, now we have another revenue stream. We can do delivery. We can do quick pickup for people who need to get in and out. So I don't want to say it's been a blessing in disguise, because it's definitely not that, because this is definitely a tragic time. But I'm seeing kind of silver lining for our business.
What is a typical day, first off, that looks like at Yogurtini? So if we could open, I know you said like people go in and like, for me, I would go in and go to the cookies and cream and pour whatever down. Get my medium cup, get my toppings on there, you know what I'm saying? Sprinkle them on there and I'm good. But what would it look like? I mean, I know it's lively. You talked about the marketing. The marketing is beautiful for Yogurtini.
Thank you.
So you and your wife do an amazing job at that. What is a typical day like?
It depends. So there's times where we're actually in there a lot. And so it's a lot of just working the counter, cleaning tables, that kind of stuff. I'm one of those owners where I'm not going to have my team do something that I won't do myself. So if we're in the store working, we're doing everything. We're behind the counter. We're stocking toppings. We're stocking yogurts. We're sweeping down floors. We're doing all that manual labor stuff. I will say I spend probably 80% of my time working on the business instead of in the business at this point. So I'm doing a lot of marketing. I am working on partnerships. I am lining out fundraisers, trying to get catering orders, trying to build the business, working on new locations, trying to get sales up, and always looking at ways to trying to minimize expenses as well. So it kind of just depends on the day, but if I try not to be in the store, because honestly, if I'm in there, I do a lot of sampling. I'm trying to, try to keep myself right. So
I don't think I can be in there either. I'll be taking product. Like, let me get some of this.
Honestly,
that is not freezing right.
Hey, take sure the consistency.
So
every sample turns into 8 or 9. So.
Go ahead, bro.
What has your relationships been like with your employees? Like, have you had to trickle down any or downsize any, or like how have you been able to keep active, or have you took advantage of any of the PPP funding that's out there, or anything like that?
Yeah. So right when all this started, we were freaking out. I was freaking out. My two managers were freaking out. My employees were freaking out. We were all just uneasy because at that time it was, about a month and a half ago or so. Everyone was freaking out. We didn't know what this was. This really hasn't happened before, not, in a long time. And so we had about everything kind of hit Kansas City March 14th, 15th. That's when we first started being affected by sales. We stayed open for about another 10 days after that. A lot of anxiety through that time. And then we made a decision to close, actually, because sales were really low. I was having parents call me because I have a staff of about 30 people, and about 20 of them, probably 25 of those 30 are high school or college.
Oh wow.
And a lot of them are high school. So I was having parents call me. I was having employees hit me up saying my mom doesn't want me to work. My dad doesn't want me to work. I don't want to work. My college kids were stuck between like, I'm broke. I don't want to work because I'm scared, but I need money. So we closed just to figure out what was going on. And we closed for 10 days and we had some meetings and Zoom calls and everything. And we were just reassessing. And so we decided to open back up. Actually April 7th is when we opened back up because we finally got a plan for how it looked to keep customers safe, but also my team as well. And so honestly, my whole team's morale is pretty high. The ones who didn't feel comfortable working aren't working. And the ones who wanted to work and need to make money, they're all working currently. And I didn't fire anybody. They're all coming back whenever we go, get back into the swing of things. But no one has to come back before they're ready. Not even my managers. I have one manager who's working again full time. Another manager who's a little older. She's 60, and so she's a little worried about her health. So she's not going to come back until she feels ready. And we have applied for money as well. We haven't gotten any money from PPP yet. I'm hopeful, and I keep just kind of laughing it off. And I'm confident that the government will actually help us, but I'm just still waiting.
Okay, yeah. That's I think that's pretty much everybody. I think that when it came to the release of those funds, especially in that first round, the wording wasn't tight knit to where it can definitely help out true small businesses, and it really got taken advantage of. I mean, and even Kansas City, kind of overall as a city, getting any type of relief, we were kind of skipped out on. So it's definitely rough for everybody, man. But I appreciate that you've been able to be open with your people and keep their jobs safe for them until they're comfortable and ready to come back out. So now that we've kind of gone through like the whole thing, and now everybody's like kind of like, yo, open up. You heard the government was like, if he said, like, I want to quote him, but I don't want to quote him. But he literally said, if boss calls, you need to go to work. And I'm like, if boss calls, but like how like now, but Mayor Quitton, he's been very like against not opening up.
And I have his quote. He says, this is Mayor Q. I say this with respect, but even as a matter of law, you don't have to go if you feel unsafe or like you might compromise a loved one's health. Don't go. There may be repercussions, but your health and family's health is more important. And Kansas City has added more layers and protections for people who, if they don't want to go to work come May, whatever, they don't have to go, and they're not going to lose their job.
Right.
So, amen.
Yeah. Amen. I'm glad. and you seem like you already put that philosophy in place, but now with the 10-10-10 effect, like how do you feel about opening up your doors? I mean, are you going to keep on going with where you're going, or is it back to self-serve and we're just going to sanitize after everybody leaves?
So I'll just give my perspective on the whole thing. We are a essential business, so we've been open for a while. I don't want to speak for non-essentials who are trying to make this decision, hey, we're going to open for the first time. But coming from a business who has been open and the new way of doing it is working okay, Um, you know, I think what he said makes sense because I have that same philosophy. Like, I am not going to make someone open, or I'm not going to make someone work when they absolutely have anxiety around doing it. Um, I don't think that is fair for me to dictate that. If you think that your health is in jeopardy, cool. I have my own thoughts on the whole thing, but I don't want to put that on anybody else. So for me, it's worked, but I have a business and a model where I can do that. You know what I mean? Like I have part timers. If it was full time staff, I don't know how that would be. I only have 2 full time people where I'm their livelihood and I'm still paying them. So it's a kind of a different thing. I definitely see where his head was at with the 10-10-10. I think that it's something that covers kind of all bases where if you can and you want to go back to work, you can. Um, and if you don't want to, then you don't have to. So I definitely see where it's kind of trying to play to all sides while at the end of the day, keeping the citizens of Kansas City and the surrounding areas safe. So I get that. I also get that some people may not like it because I've heard some restaurants say, hey, if we open 10% of our business, we're still not going to bring in enough money to be able to pay rent, pay utilities, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm
Yeah.
empathetic and sympathetic for both sides. I think that there's also something for businesses that comes into play with um, the PR around it,
Mm-hmm.
where you have half the population who says we should be wearing masks and gloves and we should be closed. And then you have half the population that says, you can't tell me what to do. We need to open. And as a business, we're trying to walk this line of, do we go in and try to make our money and do the thing to get back to normal? Or do we honor what everyone's saying because we're getting backlash because people are upset because we're open? So it's a weird thing where I don't know if anyone's actually winning when it comes to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we have to care about our morality more than our profits as well. And it has to lie somewhere in the middle. Everyone's going to be different. I would say every day I'm kind of a little different in how I think about it. But hopefully that answers your question.
No, it does. I think that, like it's we're creating something that's a new normal, right? Like you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
creating something that nobody's been able to experience. You have to build adaptations, like with you doing the pickup and the delivery. That's definitely helped you out, and overall think about safety. And when you think about both sides. One side is like, the virus has rights to
Right.
roam
Yeah.
around, and the other side is like, no, I'm gonna stay in, stay sheltered, and I'm not going anywhere. It's hard to ride that fine line, especially when it's like livelihood versus, you know, living. So how I see employees now saying, I made more money on unemployment than what I have unemployment in 1 week than what I have in 2 weeks. And so
Yeah.
you have that. Do you have any of those type of thought process going on? Well, you say you have a lot of part timers, so probably not a lot of them are collecting unemployment.
Mm,
But
oh, they
what is
are.
your
That's a big group I have. Yeah. I mean,
because you're
like,
still like owners still kind of pay a percentage of unemployment, right? Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
you said owners are paid a percentage of unemployment.
Yeah. Like they like the business has to pay some unemployment, or is the unemployment collected through the tax that's
So
taken out of their
normally,
check?
whenever a, a team member or employee gets unemployment against a business, that business would have to their unemployment rate would get increased, and so then
Okay,
I would have to pay a higher unemployment rate to the state. So
makes
if
sense.
I did get unemployment against me, however, in this time they have made that rate zero, so it won't affect anything at all. I think through the rest of the year. So that's an amazing thing that they did. So it won't affect me for them to be on it. However, since every single person gets their unemployment rate, which may be anywhere I think from $100 to $300 or maybe even more,
Yeah, they added like an
plus
extra stipend on
six
top.
hundred.
Right,
So
right.
if you get $100, they're gonna add 600 to that. That's $700.
Mm-hmm.
That for a lot of my part timers, that's $700. They're getting that per week. A lot of my
Mm-hmm.
people don't get that in a month.
Right.
Because they're going to school mainly, and then they're only working 10, 15 hours a week.
Wow.
And so that's kind of where we're at now. Kansas City has a stay-at-home order till the 15th, which is 15 days away. And we're trying to gear up to open back up in a couple of weeks. But a lot of my people don't want to come back. And I get it. If you're going from making $100 a week to $700 a week, I
That's
wouldn't want to go
crazy.
back either. So,
Like, how do
I
you?
don't even know. I'm trying to
It's
I
like,
was gonna say something, but I was like, nah.
if I'm being real, like I try to be all the time. I'm stuck from a person who cares about my business and money, and also cares about people and community. It's hard because I understand both,
mm-hmm,
but I also don't agree with both. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Because both of them positively and negatively affect me.
mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to put that aside and figure out what we have to do. So if I have to replace those people for now until they're ready to come back, cool. That's kind of my thought process on it. But some of my employees who normally work 10 to 15 hours are getting $700 per week.
Sheesh. And that's kind of what I thought everybody would kind of be in especially in the restaurant business, right? If you're only making 213 an hour plus tips, and then you're basically banking out $700 a month,
Yeah.
or $700 a week, and like how is your employer supposed to still hold your spot because they want to hold your spot, but they can only open up 10%. So you're going to make way less than what you were when before all this stuff happened. So it's like that balance I can understand is kind of hard. So
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's tough. And that's the other thing with the 10-10-10. It's giving people the right, it's giving non-essential and essential businesses the right to open back up, which means that people are supposed to go back to work, which means some employees are being told to go back to work.
Yeah.
And they're losing that $700, and they're mad because they, even on a full-time salary, didn't make that much. For my part-timers, it's cool because they're part-time. I can wait. But for full-timers, it's either come back to work or get fired. And they're between, well, I'm getting $700 a week, but I used to get X a week. So it's just a weird dichotomy, and I don't think anyone knows properly how it's supposed to look, because this hasn't happened before.
I'm just like, what? But if you get fired, you can't file for unemployment, right? Like, you can't file for unemployment if you essentially get fired. But it might be some kind of loophole because of the what we're in, and I'm
So
not
if you get
sure.
fired, you can definitely get unemployment. So
Okay.
yeah, if they do get fired because of this whole thing, they'll keep getting whatever they were making before because they would have no income coming in. However, if this is your career job, you just lost your career job for unemployment that's eventually going to run out.
Yeah.
I think they said it's going to go through June, and then they extended it 13 weeks, which is awesome. That's July, August, September. But
So with everything that's going on, Yogurtini, you guys are always introducing new flavors and things like that. How have you been able to stay progressive with the branding, or continue to evolve? You already have kind of by default with the to go and the pickup, but like, how else do you see yourself progressing after all this has eventually cleared up at the end of the year?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think that this time has given us a lot of clarity on what people want to see. First off, we are posting a decent amount about the stay at home and the quarantine because it's what's relevant right now. Like I don't want to be not sensitive of what's going on. So we post things about our business that are relevant to what's going on. How they can order. Like I'm very detailed on how you can order. Almost in all my posts, I say, here's the ways you can order. Here's when we're open. Here's the times we're open. And I will say that it has created a new conversation online about our product. People are asking questions about what's in our product and how they can get it the best. And these questions that haven't really come up before, where before I would say I was for sure posting a lot less And so I think I'm just giving more people the information that they want, but it's also just opening up the channels. And what we've also done is we have been posting as a person versus posting as a business.
Mm.
Meaning they feel one of us posting versus it's just some corporation. And I'm cooking, I am local and I am born and raised in Kansas City. So people
Mm-hmm.
know that. They want to support it, but they also feel they feel it. They want to be, everyone wants to be connected to something. So if I am posting as me, Isaac Collins, the local Kansas City kid, versus another frozen dessert place that's just some corporate whatever that isn't investing in the community, who are you going to pick?
Yeah.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I'm heavily invested in Kansas City between my money, my time, my resources. My family's here. We do a lot here, even with Yogurtini, between donating, between volunteering, between supporting other organizations. And I think people need to know that. They want to know what's going on. They want to know what they're supporting.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's pretty good, and that can't just happen in light of COVID-19. I mean,
Yeah.
I would honestly, me as a customer, I vouch for that. Not just with you, but just with anybody. You know, I look
Yeah.
at, you know, what do you do, or you know, do I feel welcome? Is the brand
Mm-hmm.
welcoming? You
Yeah.
know, are the people when I go there, do they treat me the right way? So I think even leading up to, or even in this time, we were talking about people having conversations about our product and what's in it. I think that's a testament to just your consistency, because somebody probably led them to that page, or maybe they ran
Mm-hmm.
across it, or they know somebody who follows you, or one of those things. And I think that's the beautiful part of just being a small business owner in general, that when you do start something, and if you're not there consistently, people still know your brand and just who you are. And so I would agree. I
Yeah.
think
Just
an
got to
honor.
have that feel.
Yeah, I think.
Or why am I coming in here? You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
if I'm not doing it the way I'm doing it, then if something else opens on the block down that is a similar thing to me,
you better
but they're
speak
not
on it.
raving fans, you know what I mean? Like, so what makes them want to stay loyal to Yogurtini versus going to run to whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
But
and I think Kansas City is great about that too. Through a lot of these in a lot of the industries in Kansas City, you have these people who are so invested and pouring their heart into it, and that's why we want to support them. You know, we all have
yeah,
our local KC businesses that we're like, oh, coffee, go here. Oh, you know,
Yep.
beer, go here. Like,
Yep.
because the heart and the soul behind it.
that's true. Um, and my next question to you, Isaac, do you think that, I mean, obviously relationships play a factor in that, but what are some things that maybe like just relationship building, like people are supporting who they want to support during this time, because
Mm-hmm.
people are very mindful of, I am, where my dollars going, how much money I'm spending on cookies and cream,
Right.
all those things. So, like, you know, can you talk about, is that exposed for some owners, regardless if you're in franchisees or not? You know, I mean, it's probably more evident now than it's ever been before, because if you're loyal to the
Yeah.
brand, you're loyal to the brand.
Yep. Yep. 100%. And I think that's shown so much by where people are spending their money. Um, we've never had a time where people are so cognizant of every single dollar that is spent. And so people are really looking where they're spending it. And I think that says a ton about the ones who have built a brand, the ones who build a community, the ones who have made a person feel a certain way about them. Because if you don't have that community feel and someone doesn't feel a part of what you're doing, like I said before, there's no reason for them to continue to come back. Go there once, yeah, because you got good food or whatever. But the loyalty doesn't have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And even bigger than Yogurtini. Like, I just think that that's incredibly important, because if you're doing anything worthwhile, not only in Kansas City but just in general, you have a message, and people need to hear that message. If you know, if it's saying something good, you know what I mean. So we're trying to be that. We're trying to be a good force of support and everything in Kansas City, and so hopefully people are hearing our message.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now that you've kind of gone through and we're kind of getting a lift out of this, getting a lift from the stay-at-home order, what are some things that you say that as an owner helped you prepare for this, and what are some things that you feel like that you could have had going into this to help you be more prepared?
Going into this pandemic, or just to be a
Yeah,
business
into
owner?
the pandemic.
That's a really good question. I would say, oh man, as far as being prepared, I don't know what prepares you for that. I do think that having a good system of accountability and a network of other business owners and people to bounce things off of is important. I think that sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get into things and we think that we're the only one that can do it. And that's not true. Your employees can do a good job. Other entrepreneurs can give you advice on what to do. So for me, it's been amazing to be connected to certain groups that have people who are definitely smarter than me to give me advice on how to handle certain situations. And that's just in general. I'm in a couple franchise groups through my franchisor that they've really helped me along, battling things from how to reply to certain comments on social, how to properly do pickup and delivery. So that I would say that has probably helped me the most is the accountability, but also the feedback from other people who are kind of in the same world as I am. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it helped me segue into our memberships.
Okay. Get it.
I mean, because essentially that's what these forums are built for. That's what BSKC is built for, is to be that support system. Through something like this, I feel like, as Kiana mentioned, relationships are important, not only with your customers but with other people who could be going through the same thing that you're going through.
Yeah.
You just don't know that they probably experienced it 5 or 10 years ago. So being able to have those things, it definitely puts you in a good position. And so BSKC has definitely wanted to ensure that our members or our potential members know that this is the network that we're building.
Yeah.
It's just, again, have you on here in this perspective. I wanted to make sure that our listeners know that there's people out here who are actually doing the right thing morally. There are people out here who are just, or people out here who are struggling just as much as you are, but they found ways to overcome them. And being able to host these forums and create these forums for them to understand and to get that information is what we're all about. So definitely, man, I really appreciate that answer. Kiana, you got any closing remarks or anything like that, or?
Yeah, man, I can't wait till things get better so we can make a lot hot over there by the plaza.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
get a little drive-by action going.
No.
People can kind of, when they feel comfortable with social distancing, we can come in there. BXKC can spread some love.
For sure.
I think it's very exciting to see people who look like us to make a dent, whether that's franchising, whether that's, hey, I'm just owning it outright. I haven't known you quite that long yet, but look forward to building on our friendship. And obviously, we're grateful to have you a part of BXKC. And as Craig mentioned, that's what we pride ourselves in doing, is ultimately being able to bridge that gap. And so over time, the plethora of BXKC should be people who model not only the business aspect of it, but people who are morally and socially equipped as well. And so when you start replicating that over time, it's a beautiful thing. And so kudos to you for going after your dreams. And who knew that little competition, man?
I know. I had no clue 8 years ago. I know what I was getting into.
Yeah, now look at you, but better times are ahead. I'll be by soon to get my cookies and cream, and with Final Due, maybe I'll send some to Craig too, so he can bask in what I'm.
No. My wife introduced me to Yogurtini the other probably over the summertime, and I was like, man, this is like fire. Yeah, so I definitely, and then I I overloaded on my toppings. I was like,
It always happens on the first time. People always go overboard.
I was like, man, I got this cookie, this candy.
I will tell you, like people even making a difference of, it's no secret. We Black people,
Yeah.
So I mean, somebody inboxed me the other day. Was like, I didn't know that one was Black owned. Yes, so that's another bridge that
Can I speak to that really quick? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, please.
No, go ahead.
So I've owned this business for 5 years, and for the first probably 3.5, I didn't really show my face a lot. And I've been doing it a lot as of late, and I probably get a message every single week saying, I didn't know this business is Black owned. How do you own this? This is on the plaza. And I am excited that people are excited that it's Black owned, but it also makes me sad because since the business is owned by a Black person and it's on the plaza, it's like this perception that we can't do that because it's on the plaza. It's on the west side of the segregated dividing line of truth. And that makes me mad, sad, and glad all at the same time in all different ways because, I mean, we're powerful. We're a powerful people, and we have to understand that. You know what I mean? Like, we can literally do anything. We have just as many rights as anyone else to own a business wherever we want.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And so, anyways, I could speak on that forever, but I'm excited, and so I feel like I have a message that I want to share and tell as many people and show as many people that yes, I'm a Black man, and I own a business, and I own a business on the plaza. And people said it couldn't or shouldn't have been done, but I'm here, and I'm successful, and I'm giving back too. So, anyways,
well, you definitely have a platform. Hey, your soapbox can be BSKC all day, because I mean, like it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was a shock to me when Kiana told me. I was like, nah, like
I'm like, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so like, and it made me want to immediately get you on here, immediately get you in front of our members because we need this perspective, right? We need this understanding. I don't know how many times I see people like, oh, get 10 of your friends and get $5,000 together and you can own a Chick-fil-A. And it's like, but you don't really know what that's really like. And to have somebody who looks like us, who has a franchise and not only one location, but 2 locations, we can really make that social media post into something that's actually, that's going to actually happen. So we're glad to have you a part of the BSKC family. If you didn't know, you already are. You are a member of BSKC.
Happy to be here. Love what you guys do.
Man. When everything gets back right, we definitely want to support and get maybe it's a Black excellence yogurtini flavor. I'm throwing that out there. You definitely get all my money in. That's for sure. But we'll figure it out. Thank you so much for doing this. This is great. People go back and watch this all the way through. Thank you to your wife. I know I haven't met her yet. I know she's not on or she watches this because obviously you probably are not great. And without her support and things that she allows you to 100%. do. And so kudos to her because just because we don't see her, I mean, I know she called right now. You're gonna be like, all right, what's up? Same as Craig, and so
yes.
And I know that's hard. It's hard work when you're an owner like that, and if you pulls away from family and stuff. So I can only imagine probably now, with you guys working together, that's a team dynamic thing in these times, and so. Thank you so much. And for those of y'all who tuned in, we're excited to bring you guys these type of conversations. Join us back here pretty soon because I'll be on again.
Just a few minutes. And everybody, please know that, again, our memberships are now open and free for the rest of this year. Where this is our gift to you guys to be able to get access to these type of conversations and even direct access to the people who are having them. So in the comments, there is www.bskc.org/join us. If you click on that, go ahead and fill out the advancement membership and you'll automatically have a membership mailed out to you. Be on the lookout. We got some great events, some great talks up next with Kiana coming up at the 8 o'clock hour. Next week, we got some powerhouses lined up that we'll be happy to announce. And, stay safe, Kansas City, stay inside and take it easy.
Peace out.
Thanks, y'all.